especially like that's why I hate that gaming's popular now. Like everybody is a gamer. Like everybody is a gamer now. Like everybody is a gamer. Like people who
I
was
don't
like,
have a problem with that. Just putting
oh
that
my
out
god,
there.
of course I
Who the
died.
fuck do it?
I mean, like it's not like I mean in the sense where like I don't have a problem with people being gamers. Like it's more of like, okay, everyone's a gamer now. Sekiro's too hard. Now, cause games are, a lot of people buy more video games. A lot
I
of
think
people
I
spend
think
more
that
playing.
I would contest that that is an issue with um not so much that people that because everyone's a gamer these sorts of like
Oh my god, just kill me.
controversies are coming about, like, oh, Sekiro needs to be easier, Dark Souls needs to be easier,
Yeah,
video games need to be easier, or something like that, or more accessible.
yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's an issue with so many people being gamers, so much as everyone now being considered a consumer, and then when someone buys something, they expect to receive a certain amount of gratification from whatever they buy,
Yeah.
And when you unknowingly buy a game like Sekiro and you're not as proficient a gamer or as good at video games as others might be, or as the target audience
Or
of
the
this game,
yeah.
you
Or
aren't going to receive enjoyment from it. And as a consumer, you are trained to say, whenever you don't receive enjoyment from a product that you purchased, to say, this is bullshit, I want my money back, or I wasted my money. Right? That's where I think the root of the problem is this consumer culture of, I must receive this idea of what I paid for. But I think that is an issue of people being misinformed as to what type of game it is, or an uninformed consumer buying something that they should have known they weren't going to
I
like.
mean, no, I think it's more of like they know what they're getting into, but it's just like I can't. I want to be. I mean, I guess that is true, but it's just like I feel like there's a lot of people who are just like, I want to just be able to play it, like
Exactly, but because they are the consumer, I paid money for this. This is a video game. I paid $60 for this, and I can't play it, so I'm mad, right? I think that is the issue. Is I'm a consumer. I pay money. I should be able to enjoy the thing that I paid money for, and I can't enjoy this, right? But I think that is fundamentally an issue with a misinformed consumer, or an uninformed consumer, or
a
a
journalist.
oblivious a journalist, an oblivious consumer, or an oblivious journalist, right? But I will say that people really did jump the gun on that article of Sekiro needs to respect its players and add an easy mode into it. I think everyone read the headline, which it's his own fault because he wrote that headline, or allowed that headline to be attached to his article, because he knew it would get clicks. So
Oh,
I
that's
think
not what the article's about.
the backlash to that article
What the
is
hell?
deserved in the sense that he wrote that headline, or someone else wrote that headline and he let it be attached to his article, right? They did that on purpose to get clicks. They did that on purpose to get
Yeah, and that's
attention,
another thing
right?
that's
So
annoying.
so so it is his fault that he got so much backlash, right? But what I would say is, I don't think anyone read the article past the headline, or
Yeah, I
I don't
agree
think
with you.
enough people read the article past the headline. Yeah, and I'm not, trying to, like, jump on you or anything, but did you read the article?
I just said I didn't.
Right. I did, and it wasn't unreasonable. And I think this is, as much as that journalist had blame on his hands, and had, I would say, the majority of the blame on his hands for that article, for using that headline almost maliciously to generate clicks, even though, then again, the argument could be made he has to do that, because if he doesn't get clicks, he gets fired and he loses his livelihood, and then we're back to conversations ago, about, like, does someone deserve to get paid for their
I
intellectual work?
mean,
But But let me finish. Let me just finish the thought. Uh, I I did read the article, and I would say, even though he has most of the blame on his hands for the backlash, reading the article, reading the headline, I was like, that's fucking stupid, right? That's ridiculous. That's retarded. Do you know what game this is? Do
What?
you know
So
what
what was the
publisher this
article
is?
was about then?
He was mainly, I would say, it
I don't
wasn't
even fucking
completely
fuck with that guy.
unreasonable. His tone wasn't as in the
Like in
article.
the
His
tone of the
the
title.
tone of the headline was really adversarial and very much like a fuck what you think is a good game, like this is wrong, very indignant, right? But the tone of the article itself was actually pretty measured and reasonable. He was mainly talking about accessibility. And maybe I was tinted because I read the article late, and I read the article with an edit or something that was written in the future that also probably changed my perception of the article. But I came away from that article thinking this isn't an unreasonable guy. This isn't like
So what's the
maybe
article about? Like,
accessibility, essentially.
like
As
accessibility how?
accessibility as to allowing different types of players to play, right? And I think it
But
comes back to a concept of, right, again, ultimately I think he's wrong on that issue, but reading the article I was nowhere near as outraged and angry and just like
fucking
willing
over
to
here.
dismiss it as I was when I just read the headline. And I think this is a issue of, one, clickbait creating a frenzy, and two, it's not what you say, but how you say it, right? Because I think if you read the article, again, I think you would ultimately disagree, and I think most, hardcore gamers, if you want to call them that, would ultimately disagree, but I don't think they would be as angry about it. I think they would come away because that headline makes you think this guy is stupid. He knows nothing about the video games. He doesn't play these games, right? That's what that article makes you. That's what that headline makes you think. Is like this person knows nothing about video games, knows nothing about From Software, the video games he make, and Sekiro. They don't know, and they're a shitty gamer pretending to be a gamer. That's what that article immediately makes you. That's what that headline immediately makes you think in your head. And reading the article, you realize, no, this guy does play these games. This guy does like these games. He states that he enjoys these games and it's one of his favorite games.
Well, then he should understand that, like, it's like fighting games.
I think he just has a different point of view, and I would ultimately contest that I think his point of view is wrong. But what I'm trying to get across is that while it is his fault for writing that headline, I also don't think many people bother to read the article and
Well,
bother to see how, although wrong, although I would disagree with him,
finally.
reasonable and sort of measured he was.
Well, you can't even like. The thing is where.
I think it is as easy to make excuses for people not reading the headline as it is for this guy to make excuses for
Thank you for just denying me my speak.
Sorry.
But that's what I was about to say. It's like you can't even get mad at people getting mad at this guy because, like, look at game journalists these days. Really, look at them. Look at them. Like,
but I would also contest how much of this is people not reading the article. And I'm not saying that there isn't, like, one, I really hate talking about game journalism because it seems so fucking trivial and stupid. It's like, this is non-consequential. This is so dumb, right? Just, like, read user reviews, see if you identify with the person who's making the review, But, like, for me, I hate talking... I hate even putting the word journalism next to what they do.
yeah,
even though they
to be honest,
use the same sort of tactics, I wouldn't say it's exact. Journalism conjures up these ideas of either going to places unknown, or going to places dangerous, or finding out dangerous information or speaking truth to power.
Or like even talking about a game that's not even out yet, that people don't know about. But it's like, it's just now game journalists, like I said, like a while back, they have to fight with the YouTubers. They have to fight with everyone.
Yeah, it's true.
The user reviews, and it's like, game journalists aren't as necessary as they used to be, and it's like a lot of them are just failed journalists. It's like they couldn't get a regular job being a journalist, so they have to become a game journalist, and they can't play video games.
I would not go that far. I think you're being an asshole right there. Honestly, I think that's a very dickish thing to say. If I'm gonna be real, I think a lot of, maybe, I'm sure that is true with so many people in the world and so many people in the industry. I'm sure that is true of some people, but I don't think that that is true for necessarily all the people. Or, yeah, I think that is a mischaracterization coming from anger and frustration rather than something that could be said as a fact. I think that a lot of people who go into game journalism go into it because they like games and they like writing about games, in the same way that a lot of YouTubers that go into YouTube gaming channels go in because they like games and they like speaking about.
Shut up, Anthony.
I think that was really fucked up, honestly. I think that was like, you know, when you throw mud on other people, you open yourself up to have mud thrown on you.
I guess,
You know?
but it does come.
When you pull out a gun, when you're fighting someone with your fists, you know, then people morally are only allowed to use their fists, and most people are moral people, and they'll stick to using their fists. When you pull out guns, people pull out guns. When you pull out nukes, people pull out nukes.
When I pull out, I don't know. When I pull out my dick, what they gonna pull out then? Exactly.
And you open yourself up to sexual assault. Who wants that?
Bye bye. But I know I say that out of frustration and as a joke, and I'm sorry. This is my apology. Please don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. But it just comes from frustration, especially as a kid who bought magazines, like buying PS2 magazines and wanting the demo and reading articles and trying to find out, oh, what's the newest game coming out, to like game journalists just like throwing us under the gamers under the bus, you know? It's just like it used to be two people that used to be one instinct, and it's like now it's like it's not even like that anymore. It's just like it's too.
To be fair, I think you're idealizing the past. I've watched some YouTube videos.
I'm talking about the past, my guy.
No,
did you hear me say PlayStation 2?
So am I. Like, I think you might be idealizing things, right? Because there's this YouTube channel, I forgot what it's called, like Laughing Larry or something like that.
Laughing Larry?
Something with Larry.
I got a fat roll or something?
Huh?
Do you have a fat roll or something?
I don't know. It's something, anyway, this YouTube channel, something to do with Larry. He's always like ragging on like game journalists and game journalists of the past, right?
Really?
Because he's like an old dude, and like this guy gave this blatantly terrible game this great review, and he'll go into like, oh, it's so like you know, such a coincidence that, you know, these people were partnered up with this publisher, you know, at the same time that this review was going on.
Okay,
You
see,
know?
like, it's just, now that's just heartbreaking. It's just like, come on. I mean,
like, you know, I think that there's, maybe you were younger and you were.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't let me finish.
To idealize the past.
You're not letting me finish. That's what I was saying. Like, it's like a lot of us now are older, so it's like, okay, I guess maybe I guess I was saying what I was saying, but it's just like, you know, when you were a kid, it's just like you see these magazines, you get them, and you're like, oh, it's so cool. And it's just like now that you're older, and it's like you realize, wow, this is what game journalists are. It sucks, and it's like I mean, I
Well,
guess like
like I
I have no reason to necessarily be mad about that, but it's still like hella annoying, you know? It's just like now people are like, "Oh, well, you're a gamer soy boy, you know, like whatever, cry some more. We trying to be more inclusive to everyone, you know? Fuck you. Who cares?" So what if they made a character gay who didn't even was like
I can I just interject a
you've
second?
been
I think
interjecting all time. Okay, go ahead.
I don't think the people who are arguing for inclusivity are the ones using the term soy boy. Just
Yes, they
to
are.
just to be honest, you know.
Yes, they are.
Let's all right, if you say so.
It's more of like when cry more. You know, it's like that.
I honestly think that's the other side, don't you think? It's like,
What
yeah,
side?
you want inclusivity, or you want to, they're like, wow, I cry more. This game is hard, deal with it.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't really see that on the
I guess
other.
it comes on both. I guess it is on both sides.
Yeah, I guess that's a more measured characterization.